Chapter 5. In my itinerary, I reached the great sacred place Tirupati. I felt some inexplicable peace of mind. I took a bath in the temple lake of Tirumala. I had darshan of Sri Venkateswara and went into meditation in the temple premises. In meditation, I saw Sri Venkateswara as a female. That form that appeared as Bala Tripura Sundari changed into the form of Parameswara within seconds. After some time, it changed to be the form of Mahavishnu. After meditation for some more time, that form appeared like a handsome 16-year-old yogi. The eyes of the child monk were full of nectar. Affectionate love of 1,000 mothers was emanating from his 2 eyes. In the meanwhile, a black, ugly person approached the young sage and said, "Lord Sripada Srivallabha, you are the master of the universe. From today on, your devotee Shankar Bhatt will start a 7.5-year Saturn period. I will put him to all possible troubles in this world. I am awaiting the orders of the Lord." For that the Lord replied, "You carry on your duty as destined, but you shall see how I protect my devotee, and I will release them from the troubles without they even knowing about it." After this conversation of Sripada and Siniswara, both disappeared from my meditation. It became difficult for me to focus, so I stopped. Through meditation, I understood the bad times were ahead of me. I reached Tirupati, and from there immediately started to Tirumala. I was wandering without any direction. A barber forcibly stopped me and said, "Are you not Subbaya, who absconded from the house 20 years ago? Your parents became worried. Your wife is a middle-aged woman now. Come home, accept her, and live happily with children." Then I explained, "Sir, I am a Brahmin from Karnataka named Shankar Bhatt. I am a traveler visiting holy places. I am a devotee of Datta, having heard that Lord Datta incarnated as Sripada Srivallabha. I am going to Kurangada. I swear on the holy Gayatri that I am a bachelor. I am not at all the barber Subbaya as you think." He was not listening to me. Many people gathered there. Everyone was blaming me in a different way. They took me to the house of Subbaya. The parents of Subbaya regarded me as their own son and requested me in a number of ways. They were telling me moral principles that I should not desert them, and that it is a heinous crime to abandon a wife who attained maturity. One of them said, "Subbaya has become dirty with mustache and beard. If we shave him, his old glow will come back." They did not listen to me, even though I was remonstrating. Forcibly, they shaved my head. My beard and mustache were removed. They also removed the sacred Yagnopavita from my shoulders. They summoned a sorcerer known to them to treat me. That person wore strange costumes. His dreadful looks pierced my heart and caused intense pain. They bound my hand and foot and made wounds on my scalp with a sharp knife. They applied lemon juice and other juices to those wounds. I was suffering unbearable pain. They decided that a Brahmin devil possessed Subbaya after he left home, and for that reason, Subbaya wore a sacred thread and started chanting mantras. The Brahmin community in Tirupati also kept mum. They also thought that the traveler in the town was Subbaya, and that a Brahmin ghost took possession of him. When I was taken to the Brahmin elders in the town, I told them that I was from Karnataka, a Smartha Brahmin belonging to the lineage of Bharadwaja. I told them that I knew Namaka Chamaka mantras, and that I performed Sandhya daily. Those Brahmin elders did not believe me. They said that a Kannada Brahmin devil caught me, and that with correct treatment I should be made a normal person. I fainted from the pain caused by the wounds. My lamentation became a cry in the wilderness. When I came back to my senses, I saw that an ugly person with a black aura resembling me sat opposite to me. Without speaking anything, he merged into me and became one with me. It occurred to me that due to the influence of Saturn, my fate turned topsy-turvy, and that a 7.5-year period would be an extraordinary difficult time for me. Only Sripada Srivallabha could save me. Even in that anguish, I was mentally chanting the name of Sripada Srivallabha. As I was chanting the name of Sri Charan, my pain was diminishing. The sorcerer sacrificed chickens and goats and was conducting strange and weird rituals. I was given a regulated diet. The sorcerer decided that vegetarian food should be served to me as a Brahmin devil possessed me. I was worried that meat also might forcibly be fed to me, but on account of the mercy of Sripada, I was given vegetarian food. This brought some consolation to my mind. For 3 days, I underwent a hellish agony. Even in that state, I did not stop remembering the name of Sripada. The pain abated on the 4th day. Queer experiments were conducted on my body. The witch doctor was also giving me whiplashes. I writhed with pain and cried, Sri Vallabha, Saranu, Saranu. How can hellish troubles torment devotees who serve Lord Datta with undivided devotion? My eyes got brim with tears. In the meantime, a miracle took place. I did not feel the least of pain, even though the blows of the whip fell on my body. On the other hand, the witch doctor writhed with pain. He did not understand why he was getting the pain of the blows when he was whipping me. He was looking at me with queer looks. I noticed the divine play of Sri Pada and laughed. Even though I was eating a regulated diet, it was very delicious. I was eating meals to my heart's content. I was eating the food with the idea that it was the prasad of Sri Pada. In spite of the fact that the sorcerer was eating chicken and goats liked by him, it was turning into poisonous food. His health was deteriorating. He stopped harassing me and spent his time merely with mantras and rituals. ... His house was burnt. On the 5th day he commenced treatment to me. Even though no fire was ignited in the sorcerer's house on that day, a fire broke out suddenly in the presence of all, and the house was reduced to ashes. On the 6th day, the sorcerer came to the house of Subbaya with a pale face. He said that a Brahmin ghost, who was a witch, took hold of Subbaya, and that the devil burnt his house with witchcraft because he started treatment. Many rituals were to be conducted to win over many evil forces like Betala, and for that purpose, a large amount of money was required. I knew that there was no use for the treatment, and that the witch doctor was making all suggestions due to his greed of money. It came to my mind that nothing would be more unfortunate and treacherous than to accept the wife of Subbaya as my own, thus succumbing to the course of cruel fate. I could not understand why fate was playing so mercilessly with me. I told the parents of Subbaya, My dear parents, don't fall into the magic trap of this sorcerer and sell away all your movable and immovable properties. I am considering you both as my mother and father. With that, I was freed from the sorcerer. The parents of Subbaya were happy. My eyes also became wet on seeing the happiness shining in their eyes. I prayed mentally to Sripada humbly to save me from a moral downfall, since the wife of another man is to be considered as a mother. So, I prayed to Sripada to save me from the impending danger. On the 7th day, since my medical treatment commenced, I said to the wife of Subbaya, who was attending upon me, What are you thinking about me? Are you believing that I am Subbaya really? For that, she said, the marriage took place when I was 2 years old. Now I am 22 years old. No one, except God, knows whether you are my husband or not. Though you are undergoing all these troubles, you did not regard me as your wife. You did not even touch me. This is possible only for those who have very good culture. I do not have any opinion about you. I want to lead a virtuous life according to the traditions of the family. If you are my husband, do not leave this humble servant of yours. On the other hand, as my husband fled from the house 20 years back, and as my marriage took place when I was quite ignorant, you can accept me as your wife. I will walk in your footsteps. Who is Sripada Srivallabha about whom you always think? If he is a Sadguru, I will also pray to him to show an ethical solution to this knotty problem. Her argument appeared proper to me also. Then I said, Sripada Srivallabha is Lord Dattatreya. He incarnated in this Kali Yuga. Now he is in Kuruvapuram. He behaves according to our conceptions about him. If we consider him as Sadguru, he grants us experience as a Sadguru. If we consider him as Paramatma, he will prove himself as Paramatma. You can also chant the name of Sripada Srivallabha. Your duty surely will be known to you. A solution acceptable to all will become available. On that day, Amala Jangam IV came there. There were many books of palm leaves with him. He became a venerable person to all the residents of that locality within a short time. He was telling past, present, and future events to all those who met him. He was telling that all those palm leaf books were Nadi Granthas, and it was called Science of Ramala, and all the predictions from those books would take place exactly as foretold. He came to the house of Subbaya's parents on their request. He gave some seashells to me and asked me to cast the shells on the ground. He made some calculations and took a leaf from the palm leaf books and read out as, the questioner is a Kannada Brahmin by name Shankar Bhatt. He will write the life history of Sripada Srivallabha. In his previous birth, he and another person were born in Mogalicharla village, situated near Kandukuru town. Both of them became very much interested in gambling. There is a famous self-manifested Datta temple in that village. He was born as a brother of that temple priest. In the absence of his brother, he was conducting temple worship and other rituals. He was indulging in gambling with his friend in the temple premises. That is a highly objectionable matter. One day, he played the gambling game with his friend under peculiar stipulations. If his friend were to win, this man had to give him the amount of money stipulated. If this person were to win, the friend had to hand over his wife to this gentleman. Lord Datta was the witness to this deal. They solemnly swore to that effect and gambled. Lord Datta was observing that this highly reprehensible act was taking place in his very presence. Shankar Bhat won in the gamble. The friend refused to hand over his wife to Shankar Bhat. The dispute was referred to the elders. The elders of the caste assembled. They resolved that it was an unpardonable offense that such a misdeed took place in the very sacred presence of Lord Datta. They also resolved that hot-boiled oil should be poured on the head of Shankar Bhat, who was enamored with the wife of another person and who wanted to enjoy her in a crooked way. They further resolved that the genitals of the friend who staked his wife should be slashed to render him impotent, and that both of them should be expelled from the village after execution of the decree. The resolution was duly executed. As Shankar Bhat performed service to Datta for a short while, he was born in this birth as a person with some devotion to God. His friend took birth in a barber's house in the holy town of Tirupati with the name of Subaya. With mental instability, he became mad and ran away after the marriage. The wife of Subaya is innocent. As no offense was committed by her, the lunacy of Subaya decreases on account of the efficacy of her matrimonial fidelity, and Subaya returns to this place on the next day after the science of Ramala is heard. Shankara would get released on that day. On account of the grace of Sripada Srivallabha, the 7.5-year duration of harassment to Shankar Bhat due to Saturn would elapse in 7.5 days by making him suffer such above-mentioned troubles. Those who swear in the name of God and make false and unrighteous declarations are severely punished by Lord Datta. For the cure of the mental instability of Subaya, some portion of the merit of Shankar Bhat was transferred to the credit of Subaya by Chitragupta. People should understand the fact that the influence of karma works in the most subtle way. Therefore, they should perform good deeds and refrain from doing bad deeds. The horoscope of Sripada Srivallabha will come to Pitakapuram through Akshay Kumar, a follower of the Jain religion residing in the Tripura province a few centuries after his incarnation ends. Before that, a book with the title Sripada Srivallabha Charitamritam, describing the divine sportive plays of Sripada, will come to light. Till this, written by me, will not be known to the world except for the inmates of Dattatreya. In the meanwhile, many saints, graced by Datta, shall the birth home of Sripada Srivallabha, but it will not be revealed to the world. How can I describe the mercy of Srivallabha? The next day, Subaya came to his house. His lunacy was completely cured. I treated Subaya's wife as my sister. I took leave from the parents of Subaya and reached Kanipakam village in the Chittoor region. The destined 7.5 years of punishment was finished in 7 days by the mercy of the Lord. The Avadutas works miracles by postponing the karmas, by shrinking the karmas and transferring it. They even can fast forward the karmas for few days and even elongate it without the knowledge of devotees. He is the greatest Lord ever ready to involve in devotees' life and to grace them. He is his own equal. Only his grace can provide that sort of protection. The village Kanipakam was at a short distance from Chittoor. The temples of Sri Varadaraja Swami, Sri Manikanteswara Swami, and Sri Varasiddhi Vinayaka are in that village. I had darshan of Varasiddhi Vinayaka and came out of the temple. There was a tall dog standing there. I was afraid and went back into the temple of Varasiddhi Vinayaka. I meditated on God for some time and came out. There was one more dog of the same size along with that first dog. I feared that I would surely be bitten by those dogs. I again entered the temple of Varasiddhi Vinayaka. The temple priest found my behavior queer and asked me, "Sir, you are repeatedly going out and coming into the temple. What is the reason?" I told him about my fear. Then the priest said, "They won't harm anyone unnecessarily. Those dogs belong to a washerman. This washerman is a devotee of Datta." The washerman declares that Sri Datta has incarnated with the name of Sripada Srivallabha. Even though there is no restriction for the entry of the washerman into the temple, he does not step into the temple. He sends his dogs. I pack Swami's prasad into a bundle and hand it over to the dogs. They carry the bundle and go over to their master. You said you saw 2 dogs. I will give the prasadam only when all the 4 dogs come together. Let us see whether the other 2 dogs arrived. When we came out, there were 4 dogs. The 4 dogs surrounded me from all the 4 directions. The priest said, "You go to that washerman as per the wish of those dogs. It augurs well for you. I realized that the events in my life were taking place according to the direction of Sri Vallabha. I felt that from the incidents at the house of Subaya, one should not mind too much for the distinctions of caste and religion. A pariah may be born as a Brahmin in the next birth, and a Brahmin may take birth as a pariah in his next birth. I learnt that a living being amasses the virtues and sins earned by him, and with that bundled load he wades through the stream of fate through successive births. As told by the priest, I went to the place where that washerman lived. The washerman was 70 years old. He came out of his hut and seated me with cordiality on a cot. Much of my pride, due to my birth as a Brahmin, was already destroyed. Whosoever they may be, all devotees of Sripada appeared as my close kith and kin. The washerman, called Tirumala Das, gave me the prasad of Sri Varasiddhi Vinayaka temple. I accepted it as a prasad of Sri Pada Vallabha. Tirumala Das began to speak. Sir, today is a good day. I had the good fortune of seeing you. I am eagerly waiting to inform you about the important events of Malayadripuram and Pithikupuram. My dear Shankar Bhatt, you received the prasadam of Varasiddhi Vinayaka. You commence writing Sri Pada Sri Vallabha Charitamrutam book from today. You will receive the blessing of Sri Vallabha in Kuruvapuram. I understood that he has judged my arrival much earlier than today. Tirumala Das continued, I was a great Vedic scholar in my previous life. I was a great miser. At the time of my death, I noticed that the calf that was just born was chewing an old rag. As I concentrated my looks on the dirty linen at the time of my death, I am now born as a washerman. A person gets a birth according to his concentrated wishes at the time of his last breath, at the termination of a birth. Due to my good deeds in the past, I was born in Mayadripuram of the Palnad region in Gartapuri district. This Mayadripuram became Maladi in the passage of time. In that village, there were 2 families with their surnames as Maladi. One is the family of Maladi Bapannavadanulu, who was a great scholar. He belonged to the lineage of sage Haritasa. The other one was Maladi Sridharavadalulu, who was also a great scholar. He belonged to the lineage of sage Kaushika. The sister of Sridharavadalulu, Rajamamba, was given in marriage to Bapannavadalulu. Both the brothers-in-law were erudite pandits. Both of them went to Ayanavili village in the region of Godavari for the great sacrifice of golden Ganapati. Some savants argued that, according to scriptures, Ganapati should receive the final fire ritual with his trunk and grant his vision of bright golden hues. The 2 great scholars, who were officiating over the conduct of the major sacrifice, swore that they would strictly manage all proceedings according to the Vedic scriptures, and that they would make Sri Mahaganapati emerge before their eyes. At the end of the sacrifice, Ganapati granted his vision of golden-colored brilliance, and accepted the last fire ritual with his trunk. He also declared that he would incarnate shortly on a Ganesh Chaturthi day with complete potencies and virtues. All those who attended the ritual were amazed. There were 3 atheists in that congregation. They raised a controversy that all that was seen was only an exhibition of magic and hypnotism, and that Ganapati did not figure at all in the final sacrifice. They argued that if it was genuine, Ganapati should grant them proof once again. Then the holy ash in the sacrificial pit took a human form and changed afterwards as Mahaganapati. Then the Mahaganapati form said, You fools! Before Shiva killed Tripurasura, before Vishnu subdued Bali, before Vishnu obstructed Ravana from taking away the Atmalinga of Shiva, before Parvati Devi slayed Mahishasura, before Adi Sesha shouldered the weight of the earth, before Siddhas achieved occult powers, before Cupid conquered the world, and before celestials obtained their desires, they worshipped me. I am the repository of all powers. I am omnipotent. Divine forces as well as devilish forces are within me. I cause all obstacles. I am also the remover of all obstacles. Who do you think Dattatreya is? He is verily Dharmasasta, the son of Hari and Hara. Brahma and Rudra merged in Vishnu is the form of Datta. Any 3 forms of Parama Shakti decides to merge together to take a higher form is all the avatars of Dattatreya. Ganapati and Shanmukha merged in Dharmasasta form also is the form of Datta. Know it that Datta is always a personification of the Trinity. For you to understand this, you all must become a relentless seekers. as an indication that Mahaganapati is in the form of Sripada Srivallabha. His incarnation will take place on Ganesh Chaturthi. Sripada incarnation appeared bearing in mind the Ganapati Tata, to destroy the obstacles in the life of his devotees. Be it known that the traits of Subramanya will make him a Jnana avatar that happened in Dakshinamurti avatar, where he is worshipped to get power of knowledge. His aspect of Dharma Sasta will show that he is the beginning and origin of all righteous activities and rituals. His ensuing incarnation is not the result of coition between parents. Illuminating light takes a human form. I am cursing you. In spite of seeing the personification of truth with eyes, one of you uttered falsehood. He would be born blind. The other one ridiculed the personification of truth instead of praising it with speech. He would be born mute. The third one would take birth as a deaf one, because he paid a deaf ear to the truth told by so many truthful devotees. The three of you would take birth as brothers, and after seeing my self-manifested figure, you will be redeemed of your sins. My dear, those three persons were born as brothers in Kanipakam. If the Trinity is abused, or Datta, the personification of the Trinity, is abused, countless calamities occur. The curse is not uplifted without complete suffering. These brothers took land, measuring 1 kani, and were cultivating it. In that field, there was a ground well. They used to draw water from the well with the help of a lever and a bucket attached to it. There was a severe drought one year. The groundwater level depleted. On one day, when all the water dried up, the brothers attempted to remove sand with a shovel. The shovel hit a rock under the water, and blood oozed out. When his hand touched the blood, the mute one gained speech. Water was rising in the well. The deaf one was cured of his disability on touching the water. The third one, who was blind, gained sight when he touched the rock in the water. That rock is the self-manifested Vinayaka statue. As the shovel hit the rocky icon on the head, blood started streaming out from there. To install that Varasiddhi Vinayaka, Satya Rushi Bapana Vadanulu and his brother-in-law Sridharavadhanulu visited that village. Varasiddhi Vinayaka said to them, "Im from Mahabhumi to this world, I am incarnated in the earthen nature. This nature will undergo many changes in due course of time. My advent already took place in the nature of water, fire, air, and heaven. The holy ash in the great sacrifice conducted in Ayanavili took this form. I am instructing you about the future duties. The degrees of potency of kalas in Sri Shaila are on the wane. You have to harness the brilliant power of the sun and deposit that power there. On the very day you perform Shaktipata in Sri Shaila, by my grace, Shaktipata will take place in Gokarna, Kashi, Badari and Kedar at the same time. The time is getting ripe for the incarnation of Sripada Srivallabha. Sridhara, I am changing your surname to be Sripada. Your family members belonging to the lineage of Kaushika shall henceforth thrive with the surname of Sripada. My dear Shankara, Sridhara Vadanulu and Bapana Vadanulu migrated to Pithikapuram. I witnessed many childhood plays of Sripada Srivallabha. I will narrate them with more details tomorrow. I had a boy from my first wife. His name is Ravidas. He resides in Kuruvapuram village and is rendering appropriate services to Sripada. I am staying with my second wife and children in Kanipakam, abiding by the orders of Sripada. Here I am living following my family profession. You will meet many great people in Pithikapuram. You will learn many important things on meeting the noble Vaishya Pinda Venkatapaya Sreshti. Sripada used to call him with a change in name as Venkayappa Srishti. The protecting hand of Sripada is available for the family of Srishti. Meet Vatsavai Narasimha Varma also. He has close affinity with Sripada Swami. The book to be written by you on the life of Sripada Srivallabha will be blessed by Sri Charana. Except for the book you write, there will be no other way that could portray the comprehensive history of Sripada Srivallabha. This is the order of Sri Charana. Write all of these humbly in Charitamrutam. The book will be read by many devotees and help them to know the real nature of Dattatreya. Our Lord himself will find a way to bring this book to their life. I shall narrate few important events to you tomorrow.